pretty rare.
The film opens with Maddie Barker, a 32-year-old Uber driver and bartender living in the beach town of Montauk, New York, in a precarious situation. Her financial troubles are piling up, and she is on the verge of losing her late mother's home due to unpaid property taxes. One morning, Gary, a tow truck driver and Maddie's ex-boyfriend, shows up to repossess her car. Desperate to stop him, Maddie tries to appeal to Gary's lingering feelings for her. But her efforts backfire spectacularly when a man she hooked up with the previous night walks out of the house in nothing but his underwear, undermining her plea. The scene leaves Gary unimpressed, and he drives away with her car, despite Maddie's protests. With her main source of income as an Uber driver gone, Maddie resorts to rollerblading to get around town. In an impulsive attempt to recover her car, she tracks Gary down at a diner and tries to drive it off his tow truck, only to fail hilariously as the car remains attached to the truck. Her antics lead to her arrest, leaving her with probation and no clear path to resolve her financial woes. Maddie's struggles extend beyond her job. She works as a bartender at a waterside restaurant where her blunt attitude often gets her into trouble with customers. She spends time with her best friend Sarah and Sarah's husband Jim, who provide her with emotional support, but are also preparing for major life changes of their own, as Sarah is pregnant. During a break at work, Sarah shows Maddie a peculiar online job listing posted by a wealthy couple. They are seeking someone to date their socially awkward, introverted 19-year-old son Percy before he heads off to Princeton in the fall. In exchange, they're offering a used Buick Regal. Maddie, realizing the euphemistic nature of date and seeing this as her only way out of financial ruin, decides to pursue the opportunity, justifying it as a way to exploit the wealthy for her own survival. The next day, Maddie rollerblades to the luxurious home of Laird and Allison Becker, Percy's parents. They explain their son's extreme shyness and lack of social experience, hoping Maddie can boost his confidence and help him come out of his shell before he leaves for college. While they are initially hesitant about Maddie's age, she convinces them that her life experience makes her the perfect person for the job. However, they make it clear that Percy cannot know about their arrangement. Maddie's first attempt to connect with Percy happens at the dog shelter, where he volunteers. She dresses provocatively to catch his attention and pretends to want to adopt a dog. Percy introduces her to Milo, a former police dog with a cocaine addiction. But her over-the-top flirting makes him uncomfortable. When Maddie offers him a ride home in Jim's van, her advances backfire dramatically. Percy sprays her with mace, thinking she's a predator. Maddie awkwardly recovers and agrees to Percy's request for a proper date, but later vents to Sarah and Jim about how unfuckable Percy seems. Despite her frustration, Maddie remains determined and takes Percy to a local bar to loosen him up. She gets him a Long Island iced tea, which he hates, and they run into Travis, an ex-boyfriend of Maddie's. Travis, now married, passive-aggressively thanks Maddie for leaving him, warning Percy not to get attached to her. The night continues at the beach, where Maddie convinces Percy to go skinny dipping. Their fun is interrupted when three drunk teenagers steal their clothes. Maddie, fully nude, confronts and fights the teens, showcasing her wild side. While she retrieves their belongings, Percy is horrified by her violent behavior, and their relationship becomes even more strained when she drives off with Percy clinging naked to the hood of her car. Maddie persists in her efforts to seduce Percy, taking him back to her house and performing a clumsy, sexy dance to set the mood. However, her plan falters when she notices a rash on Percy's back, which he attributes to anxiety. This leads to an unexpectedly tender moment as Maddie applies lotion to his back and Percy opens up about his past, including being ridiculed by classmates for sleeping in his parents' bedroom during high school. Maddie, in turn, shares an embarrassing memory of her own, creating a genuine connection between them for the first time. As Percy begins to trust Maddie, he invites her on a real date. They spend the day at an arcade, where Maddie's antics get them kicked out, and visit a lighthouse where Percy asks for his first real kiss. Maddie obliges, though his inexperience is evident. Their bond deepens as they discuss Maddie's inability to leave Montauk and her complicated relationship with her absent father. Their budding connection faces its biggest test during a prom-themed dinner. Encouraged by Maddie, Percy surprises the restaurant with a lively piano performance of Man-Eater, earning applause and newfound confidence. A classmate, Natalie, praises Percy and invites him to a party for Princeton-bound students. Maddie grows jealous, fearing she'll lose control of the situation, but Percy asserts his independence and insists on going. At the party, Maddie finds Percy in bed with Natalie, though he is too sick from mixing alcohol and medication to do anything. Maddie intervenes, leading to a chaotic scene where Percy accidentally punches her in the throat. On the way home, he declares his love for her, but Maddie, realizing he's too emotionally invested, refuses to take advantage of him. The situation unravels further when Percy overhears a phone call revealing Maddie's arrangement with his parents. Devastated, he lashes out, sabotaging the car meant for Maddie and severing their relationship. Maddie, left to pick up the pieces, sells her house to Jim and Sarah, allowing them to stay in Montauk with their baby. She plans to move to California to start fresh. In the film's emotional climax, Maddie tracks Percy down at a Princeton mixer to apologize. Their reconciliation involves another chaotic car chase, ending with Maddie catching fire and Percy driving into the ocean. Through laughter and tears, they finally make amends. Maddie encourages Percy to embrace his new life at Princeton, while he supports her decision to leave Montauk. The film concludes with Percy saying goodbye to his parents and heading off to Princeton. Maddie surprises him by adopting Milo, the dog they bonded over, symbolizing her growth and newfound ability to move forward. As Maddie drives Percy to college, their unlikely friendship ends on a hopeful note, with both characters ready to embrace their futures.